this is going to be quite a tricky question to do, so I've done a separate video for this. There's a couple of things to keep an eye out for. First of all is notice how I lay the work out, and I use vector notation. I don't take any shortcuts with this. Second thing is notice how there are different methods here. I'm going to use obviously one method, but then I've done this in another way too, which I'll show you after I've done this question here. Other than that, the actual maths involved with it is not hard, so keep an eye out on that. It's going to seem harder than it is, or it might be. This might not be difficult for you. I don't know. I can't take your feedback since it's not I'm not in front of you at the moment. So here's the question: OM to MQ. OM to MQ is given in a ratio of 3 to 2. So that means this is 3 over 5, and this is 2 over 5. Pn to nr is 4 to 1. So that means this is going to be 4 over 5, 1 over 5. Find mn. So we want to go from m to n. That's one potential route. Another route is to go this way. Another route is to go that way. I have decided that I'm going to go this way here. It might make it easier, it might make it harder. From my understanding of the question at the moment, I think it's not really going to make too much of a difference from any other route. So first thing you want to do is figure out which route you want to go, which I've done. So one is trace a route with a pencil usually. So it'll be very useful if you did copy the diagram into your books for this. I'm not going to check it if you have or haven't though. Question, and then step 2 is to write the route with notation. So we call it I'm just going to call it AB notation with an arrow on top, which is just vector notation. And then step 3, simplify. Now the simplify step is actually several steps, and you'll see why. So let's get started here. So I want to go from m to n. So I've decided that, so m n equal to m to q plus q to r plus r to n. Now on the side, I'm going to work out these vectors and then I'll bring them back up. So I just need some space here. So m to q, I can write that here. I do not know what this vector is. We haven't been given that. So to go from m to q, I don't really know what that is. I know it's 2. So in that case, I can say, well, how can I go from O to Q? Well, to go from O to Q, I can go up and then down there. So in other words, m to q is equal to 2/5 of this journey here, which is a plus b. Now remember, when you're doing vectors, to get from one place to the other, it doesn't actually matter how long your route is. Your resultant vector will be the same. If you remember when I did the hexagon shape and I took some, that's a terrible hexagon. I took lots of different routes to try to get from one place to another, and I ended up with the same vector. It's the same thing here. So even though that looks like it should be, that is the same as a plus b. So O plus b, and mq is 2/5 of a plus. Now I'm going to find qr. So qr is really straightforward. That's c, that's given to you in the question. Now I'm going to find rm. I'm going in that direction, and it's essentially going 1 rp. Can't write p's anymore. I know that rp is a vector which I haven't been given. So instead, I'm going to go down and then up. So rp is going to be minus b. So that's 1/5 negative c minus b. And then that will become negative 1/5 c, take away 1/5 b. Now, making a point here, I can see that MQ I've worked out, QR I've worked out, and RN I've worked out. So now I'm just going to bring all of these things up here, and then we're just going to simplify it, and then that's it. That's your answer. So we just have to be really careful with fractions. So let's just clear this up a little bit. So let's write this out here. So MQ is 2/5 A, 2/5 B. C is, that's QR, plus Rn, which is negative C, take away 1/5 B. So I don't really need the plus sign there, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So this then simplify just like basic algebra. So 2/5 A is just 2/5 A. You have to equals. And then 2/5 B, take away 1/5 B. Well, that's just going to give me 1/5 B. And then I have C, take away 1/5 C. So that's going to be plus 4/5 C. So that's one take away a fifth. So it's 4/5. This is your answer, MN. So you can pause the video if you want to study that in a bit more detail. But key points, like I said, is to write the ratios on, write your root, and then work out each part, simplify it, and then bring it together. Here is another attempt at the question. This time I've gone in a Z shape. The bit that might trip you up is Pn suddenly appearing as this when we don't know what Pn is. Well, Pn is essentially 4/5 of PR, and PR is B plus C. Decide which one's easier or harder, but I think I don't think it makes a difference at this point for you guys. So that's the tricky question for vectors. Now, exercise 2 is what I want you to do using ratios. You're going to do the that's 9s. The answers are on Google Classroom as usual. If you're stuck, ask a friend first. Second, check the answers and work backwards if you need to. And otherwise, you can just email me and I'll continue. So do exercise 2 before you watch any of the rest of the videos. I'll see you next time.